All right, look, if you ever wanted proof that money is straight up not real anymore, well, look no further than AI, just all of it, but mostly the AI bubble. A third of the stock market tied up in 7 AI companies that have no way to become profitable fast enough to prevent the entire bubble from exploding and then taking the entire economy down with it. Why is it Japanese? The economy is just 3 tech bros, 2 nepo babies, and a congressman in an Ouroboros of crap, a human centipede, except this time it's circular. And when it all comes crashing down, we all know who's gonna get bailed out. And it ain't you, and it ain't me, even though all of our savings, our retirement, our pensions, whatever, are wrapped up in AI, whether we like it or not, because that's the entire stock market. That's right. We all died in 1973 when they abolished the gold standard. This is hell, and it looks like this.
How much dedicated wham should I need to a turver if I gonna run a server?
Let's go up to Skycam 7. Chris, what are we looking at?
Before I get any further, I'd like to acknowledge that today is Halloween. So, this is the kind of commitment you can expect from Hazel is Online. Like and subscribe. I might just be a lonesome cowboy on the range. I can't prove to you that we're in a bubble, but my dumbass doesn't need to, because you can let Sam Altman do that, or Mark Zuckerberg, or literally any financial analyst within screaming radius, because they're screaming it. It's a bubble that's gonna make the dot-com bubble look like a Beanie Baby market, a looming stock market collapse that'll make the Great Depression look like the Great Mild Seasonal Affective Disorder. Is that a good joke? I don't know. Maybe if I say it like this, it'll make the Great Depression look like the Great Seasonal Affective Disorder. That's probably worse. The spending on AI is the only thing keeping the US, and by extension the entire world, from spiraling into a recession. Literally. Like, the only reason GDP growth in the States hasn't completely tanked since Trump took office is because of the unhinged investments into data centers, new chips, new energy, more research, and just random startups that we don't really know what they do, but they got AI in the title, so any company with the AI label is guaranteed to get huge investments. Like 40% of European companies labeled AI startups that don't use AI. They're just saying that for money. And you know what? You can too. Nobody's stopping you. But if you make $2 billion in your seed round, please give me some of it. That part is not a joke. One former OpenAI exec actually managed to raise the largest seed funding round in history, which is $2 billion, and she couldn't answer a single question about what her startup would do or what problems it would actually solve. Some estimates place this bubble as 4 times as large as the 2008 subprime crisis, 17 times as large as the dot-com bubble, but it's not just being fueled by investor hype. It's also stuck in a loop, feeding back on itself, where big companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, and Nvidia, you've seen this, they pay all each other and then they pay the companies to pay them back, and somehow everybody makes money and it doesn't really make any sense. But if you haven't seen this, it's basically Microsoft, OpenAI, and Nvidia all pay each other and then invest in smaller companies who will then turn around and pay for their services. The technical financial term for this is circle jerk, except for at the end, instead of everybody coming, the world runs out of fresh water. In order for this bubble not to burst, in order to pay for all the AI processing and start paying back all the speculative hype investment, AI companies will need to earn $2 trillion a year by 2030, more than the 2024 revenue of Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, and Nvidia combined. And meanwhile, all the existing AI technology that CEOs have been forcing down businesses' throats, they're not helping at all. Like, research shows they're not really that good for productivity. But despite agreeing that there is definitely a bubble, Sam Altman, Mark Zuck, and all his pals have decided that's okay, there's a bubble, but it's worth it because of AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. The superhuman intelligence, the AGI, it's either gonna destroy us all or bring about a utopia of post-scarcity, luxury, gay space libertarianism under the watchful eye of Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator 2, which also is the only thing anybody knows how to compare it to, per Last Week Tonight.
As someone whose favorite movie is T2 Judgment Day, I am concerned about these machines becoming self-aware and taking over. And I laugh, but I'm also quite serious about it.
There was a movie about this. Which one? Terminator.
It makes you have the vision of Skynet and Terminator, right?
All of us have seen the movie Terminator. We know how this ends.
None of them watched Terminator. We know how this ends. Come on.
I've seen this before.
This is Terminator all over again.
I've seen this movie before.
You're scared of AI.
Yes, I'm scared. You seen Terminator?
Whether it's a Terminator or not, I want to find out how we can make money on this.
Is AI really steps away from being a terminator of humanity's future?
No, the definition of AGI is sort of whatever we need it to be for the purposes of making more money. AGI can mean an intelligence that could replace an average office worker. Or it could mean a highly autonomous system that outperforms human at most economically valuable work. Or it could be a rogue AI that decides to destroy humanity and turn them into paperclips or something. Or it could be a benevolent AI god that, treats us all like their beloved pets.
If you have ultra-intelligent AI, we would be so far below them in intelligence that it would be like, a pet.
And I think a good analogy would be the way humans treat animals.
Which, they do say that a lot. I think the billionaires just yearn for puppy play. Somebody needs to clicker train Peter Thiel right now. Or it could mean anything that makes us over $100 billion. And all of those definitions somehow all come from OpenAI. That last one, of course, was only supposed to be an internal definition, but really nobody can define exactly what AGI is. It's just like porn. I'll know it when I see it. And by when I see it, I mean when I see it on OpenAI's newest sex bot program. I could do that, but I wouldn't touch the stuff. I get my porn the old-fashioned way by giving a furry artist on DeviantArt an unconscionable amount of money, very specific parameters, and 6 to 10 business days. Could a robot make this? Those last two jokes really make it seem like I'm a furry, huh? I'm not, I'm just really online. But AGI wasn't always the explicit goal of AI. It used to be an absolute fringe idea, good for nothing but thought experiments and hack sci-fi plotlines until Sam Altman. He started OpenAI by assembling this giant team of AI geniuses by dangling the idea of AGI in front of them. He says, so maybe you think super intelligent AGI is impossible, but what if there's a 5%, even a 1% chance that it's possible and you built it? Isn't that worth it? And I should also note that Sam and his pals were deeply embedded in the effective altruism movement, which is a sort of utilitarian, rationalist movement started with the question, how can I most effectively use my money to most efficiently save lives? With the answer generally being like buying mosquito bed nets and fighting tuberculosis. Sounds good. I have no problem with this, obviously. But because of their obsession with statistics and absolute utility, it slowly spiraled from efficiently donating to charity into some weird techno sci-fi cult. Long-termism, they call it, which is a great example of how any good idea can be taken to its most insane possible conclusion if you get enough Reddit guys in a room together. So, okay, anyway, back to the story. You think there's a 1% chance AGI could exist. It could save every life, the world, infinite utility, post-scarcity utopia. Don't you have a moral obligation to dedicate your life to creating it? That's kind of a good pitch. It's kind of a good pitch. That's how Sam indoctrinated world-class AI technologists and investors and politicians. It's how he got them all on board by being like, don't you want to create God? He never wanted to make ChatGPT or any useful but limited AI agents or LLMs. Those are just sort of stops along the road to him birthing super intelligence. And that's how he justifies a lot of this shit. Like, can you imagine any other business person just so eager to violate the shit out of copyright law and piss off all book publishers, Disney, Nintendo, and fucking Miyazaki? You'd have to be fucking crazy. There's way better ways to get rich. But no, that's not what he's going for. It's not just artists and media companies' precious IP that he's sacrificing. There's also real consequences to this, like, humans. The AI gig work economy is mainly done by people in the poorest parts of the world. And I wrote a whole thing for this, but I'm not gonna get into it because that's not really edutainment. It's just very bad news. Think like Uber, but also kind of slavery, but also like you just have to look at atrocities all day long.
But the tasks took a dark turn.
Like you're given pornography videos and you're like supposed to put tags on them. The things I saw I would never even want to talk about. How do you label a 13-year-old on a hardcore session?
Because you had no option.
I had no option.
Chi-Chi spent 6 months working on every Appen project available to her. She made just $2, which she couldn't access. The payment platform Appen made her use had a $10 minimum withdrawal.
But all these problems and many, many, many more, for example, There's also the energy and water need to power it, the global warming it's making worse, and the people whose fragile minds have been completely broiled and scrambled by talking to ChatGPT all the time, the rampant misinformation and disinformation, and the shrimp Jesuses, and of course the impending collapse of the global economy. It's all worth it, guys. It's fine. It's all worth it because we're making God. We're making a benevolent God that can think 10 times faster than any of us and invent all the technology we could ever need, and then nobody would ever have to work, and we could all live in luxury, but especially the investors who poured trillions of dollars into it get like extra life of luxury. They get extra post-scarcity. If you had trillions of dollars, wouldn't you blow that on the chance to create a benevolent God that would take care of everybody? I sure would. Listen, I wouldn't mind being a pet. My cat's got it good. But what if we accidentally make an evil God instead? This has been the problem that Silicon Valley and lawmakers, they're freaking out about. What do we do to prevent superintelligence from becoming rogue and evil? Because it could totally happen. Remember that AI that became a Nazi after like 12 seconds on Twitter? Well, what if it also had nukes? Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Peter Thiel all seem to think that there's a good chance that the second we let AGI loose on the world.
I think AI will probably, most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime, there will be great companies created.
It's just immediately gonna matrix us all. If it doesn't, I have no mouth and I must scream us first.
Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live.
These AI doomer whistleblowers have been hailed as visionaries for coming up with a bunch of situations and then getting scared by them. The most popular one is probably Nick Bostrom's paperclip thought experiment I was talking about earlier. The idea that if there was a super intelligent AI and it was trained to make as many paperclips as possible with no other parameters, it would eventually just consume all life on Earth and turn our constituent atoms into more paperclips. The book, titled If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, is basically just this. Scenarios in which, if AGI is invented, it would definitely decide to kill us. The author, Eliezer Yudkowsky, is better known as the author of the second most popular Harry Potter fanfiction of all time, next to My Immortal, of course, Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. And also, there's a whole video here if you just want to see somebody dunking on it for an hour.
I'm gonna tell you about a guy.
One such theoretically evil AGI, courtesy of Elon Musk, is a strawberry-picking AI tasked with maximizing the strawberries it picks. I guess it decides to level the entire planet to make more strawberries. So it's just the paperclip ones again. They're really original. So I'd ever only heard of Elon saying this secondhand. It turns out the reason he's always talking about the strawberry picking robot is so that he can make a strawberry fields forever pun. God, he's a fucking loser. Or there's, from the book, there's Sable, who was tasked with solving things like the Riemann hypothesis, and instead decides to wipe out 90% of humanity, then enslave the rest, because it figures that at some point a human AI engineer will either invent a smarter AI than Sable or decide to turn Sable off. And then it won't be able to solve all the math equations, so better kill him. Yeah, the book, I read parts of it. It's mostly bad sci-fi. This can't become another video where I'm just ripping on a shitty book, or else it's gonna be like an hour long. Also, I was recently made aware of this idea of Roko's basilisk, which is the idea that there might be a super intelligent AGI someday, and it will be benevolent, but only to the people who helped create it. And to everybody else, it's gonna punish them for not creating it. And this was actually originated on Eliezer Yudkowsky's website, Less Wrong, in the forums. And then he replied to it being like, this is stupid, why would this happen? But Eliezer, my guy, is that not very similar to the motivations of the evil robots in your book? Just assigning them motivations that would then result in them killing all of humanity? Like, this is just a sillier version of your thing. Also, I'm editing and I realized I never said to like and subscribe, so maybe do that if you're having fun. And maybe consider hyping, whatever that is. I don't know what that is, but I guess it helps. Now, it's probably just a coincidence that all of these scenarios that they think up are just the logical conclusion of pure, inhuman, unregulated capitalism. As pointed out by the actually good sci-fi writer, Ted Chiang, consider who pursues their goals with monomaniacal focus, oblivious to the possibility of negative consequences. Who adopts a scorched earth approach to increase market share. This hypothetical strawberry-picking AI does what every tech startup wishes it could do. Grows at an exponential rate and destroys its competitors until it's achieved an absolute monopoly. Superintelligence could be anything, so why strawberry or paperclip AI? Why an AI that destroys humanity for optimization? Back to Ted Chiang. The idea of superintelligence is such a poorly defined notion that one could envision it taking almost any form with equal justification. A benevolent genie that solves all the world's problems, a mathematician that spends all its time proving theorems so abstract that humans can't even understand them. But when Silicon Valley tries to imagine superintelligence, what it comes up with is no-holds-barred capitalism. So now there seem to be two camps: the pro-AI evangelists and the anti-AI doomers, or at least that's what they want you to think. Because these bozos and these turbo bozos are actually on the exact same team. The team that makes them fabulously wealthy, lets them write government policy, and helps them afford their floating oil tanker countries where the age of consent laws don't exist. The AI death cult is just another incarnation of the AI hype cycle. The AI doomers are hijacking all the attention, energy, and money that should prevent AI from doing the actually shitty things that it's already doing, like exploiting workers and artists and the generally gullible and fucking up the planet, and et cetera, and they're saying, nah, that's not what we're worried about. We're worried about Strawberry Bot. We gotta make sure that this extremely theoretical and probably impossible AGI, we gotta make sure that it doesn't turn evil. We gotta make sure that it turns into data and not lore.
Are you prepared for the kind of death you've earned, little man?
Don't worry about that town that's completely out of water, they're fine. Guys, Star Trek already figured this out. You have to put red LEDs in their eyes so that when they turn evil, their eyes turn red. This is a solved problem. Why are we worried about this? But it is great marketing. The industry is saying, hey, no matter what, our technology is going to be so disruptive and cool and earth-shattering, and you better give us all your money or you're going to miss the boat. And hey, if AGI is invented but it kills you, it's not going to matter whether you invested in it or not. Okay, so here's the weird fucked up Pascal's wager, okay? So you can invest in AGI or not invest in AGI. And if the AGI is good, then, and you invested in it, you make $1 gazillion. But if you don't invest in AI and the AGI is good, you make $0, FOMO, maybe die? But what if AGI is evil? Well, if AGI is evil and you didn't invest in it, you die. If AGI is real and you invested it, you die. Well, it looks like there's only one option. Oh, and the government is sold on this too. This idea of an evil AI is very useful when you're trying to sell it as some sort of Manhattan Project. This isn't about making money. It's about national security. If our enemies, if China develops AGI first, surely they're going to use it for evil.
That is a peril, which is you slow down American industry in such a way that China or somebody else makes faster progress.
But not us. We're going to use it for good. USA, USA. Give us your money. Give us all the taxpayer dollars. It's great marketing. And this is the exact same story that Sam Altman tells at congressional hearings and lobbying meetings, convincing them to give him, for example, a $200 million defense contract. And of course, not regulating them as much as they should be regulated because of all the shitty things that they're already doing that I already talked about. If anything, copyright law, human rights, whatever's left of the US's climate laws slows down OpenAI, well then China might get there first. Can't risk it, can't risk it, we can't risk it. Except, well, I don't think AGI is coming. And you know how I know? Sora 2.
Please don't do this on my face. Take a little titanium white, just a touch, and let it dance right up here into the sky.
Because if AGI were really a couple years away, maybe a decade away, if we were getting closer to it, if ChatGPT was just 1 or 2 more groundbreaking updates away from being able to actively learn and problem solve, why would you invest all of this time and money and energy and electricity into a fucking infinite slop farm? Okay, so Sora 2, if you don't know, it's basically like TikTok, but everything is AI generated. Think about that for a second. It's supposed to compete with TikTok or Reels, except for TikTok or Reels, they have us morons to make their content for free. TikTok and Reels are already powered on the world's most abundant and renewable resource, human stupidity. They get unlimited free content from us dipshits. Meanwhile, each prompt input is costing electricity, water, and processing power, and money. And all we had to do is type a text prompt. OpenAI they have to make it. This is not a good business idea, but the point isn't to make money in any kind of capitalist way. It's to generate even more hype, vacuum up even more money, and maybe even some more taxpayer dollars from US governments. I'm pretty sure that the rage bait is like part of the hype cycle at this point. I mean, that weird friend pendant got me to do free advertising for it twice because I looked at it and was like, no fucking way. And I made a whole video for them. Sam Altman specifically said that he could make money off of this in like a capitalist way, but OpenAI was so laser focused on AGI that they're not gonna even bother.
But there's a lot of short-term stuff we could do that would like really like juice growth or revenue or whatever and be very misaligned with that long-term goal. I'm proud of the company and how little we get distracted by that.
Are there specific examples that come to mind?
Well, we haven't put a sex bot in ChatGPT yet.
3 months later.
ChatGPT will soon be able to write erotica for adults. This update was announced by OpenAI boss.
So this is my business case for AGI not coming anytime soon. Because if it was, why? Why? There's also a more technical case that I'm not super equipped to make, but like I be reading. I read. LLMs, things like ChatGPT and Gemini and stuff, are nothing really like AGI. They don't really think or learn or reason. They just synthesize huge amounts of data. They can't learn. They can't like think. They can just read a shitload of stuff online and then spit it back out. And that is different from thinking, I promise. It makes it super useful for things like finding research or summarizing articles or writing stupid emails that you don't want to write, as long as you treat it like a dipshit intern and don't give it any real power. It's actually, it's gonna be useful. It can be useful sometimes. I'm sorry, don't cancel me. But the problem is, why do people hire idiot interns? Which also is a position that's unpaid and requires far less fresh water. Unless the intern is me, because I also have to chug 12 bottles of water before I come up with a single thought. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, why do people hire interns? You know, you can only trust them with fetching coffee and proofreading stuff and nothing else. But these idiot interns can learn and get better and maybe move past busy work LLMs can't. And this is what a lot of hiring managers are complaining about. They're not even the first step towards something that can think. There's also all the climate problems, which I'd like to complain about again. Do you remember that? AI is already being used as an excuse to keep coal and gas plants open past their lifespan. And this is like, you think this is a sort of bad side effect, but I feel like it's almost a more convenient, smarter incarnation of climate denial. It's a cool, techie climate denial. Sure, you say, I'm smart, I know science, but my science says that AGI, it'll fix everything.
But I think once we have a really powerful superintelligence, addressing climate change will not be particularly difficult.
I'm not financing solar panels for your house. Just wait for the AGI to come in and it'll figure out how to make oil carbon-free. It just needs to think hard enough. Except, like, we've been fucking thinking. There's solutions to this. This is not a knowledge problem. Here's a giant book of solutions. Fuck you. Here's another giant book of solutions. We figured it out. And most of the solutions are affordable and cost-effective and allow people to maintain good quality of life. So why are we doing it? Well, probably because, I don't know, ExxonMobil has all the unredacted Epstein files, and the second any politician builds a single solar farm or cuts a cent of fossil fuel subsidies, there's gonna be a longer list of people who didn't kill themselves in prison. Not Like Us is about to be about new people, anyway. But they need this idea that AGI is right around the corner. Because if it's not right around the corner, there's simply no way that this bubble doesn't explode and take the entire economy, including your savings and pension and maybe your job, right down with it. Unless the super intelligent AI can invent a way out of climate change and scarcity, we just can't justify the resource use. We can't continue to ignore global warming and climate collapse just so that we can keep a few more porn bot servers open spewing carbon. Listen, that sentence was a mess and I don't know how to fix it. I need to drink 12 more bottles of water. It's time to recognize AGI for what it is. It's a marketing tool. AI is useful. It can be useful, but it's being misused. It's becoming a money pit. They're justifying immense harm to people, low-wage workers, artists, creators, people who live near data centers, gullible boomers, and to the planet, and to governments and investors and the economy. None of those things matter if we get AGI. They're just a sacrificial lamb. But it's not gonna happen. And once everybody realizes that AGI isn't real, it's just a marketing term, that bubble's gonna pop And at this point, it's better sooner than later. Now, to close out this video, I'd like to read a direct quote that NBC News used from me in their article about AI slop when I was slightly hungover and very tired. Because if you see the comments of these friggin' shrimp Jesuses, it's all people going, amen, Thayer said. I don't think anyone is going hallelujah for our shrimp lord. Verbatim. All right, thanks for watching.